Hi everybody, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are having a great day today. So today I thought that I would go ahead and make kind of a second piece to one of my previous videos. So the video I'm kind of adding on to would be the video titled Abundance, Emotions, and Non-Duality. The part that I'm kind of adding on to is about the emotions. So this video will be about emotions and how to get rid of them. So why do I say get rid of them? Well, actually, that's not my idea. I actually received quite a bit of emails about how can I get rid of an emotion? How can I not have anger? How can I stop my sadness? So the thing is, emotions is not something you actually want to get rid of. Like, you don't ever want them to never occur again. So what I was trying to describe in that video was emotions as kind of a guiding system for you. So when I experience emotions now, emotions are more like, first of all, they come up like a feeling, right? So you start to feel them in your body. You start to feel tense, heart starting to beat faster, chest is getting tighter, muscles maybe begin to get a little bit more tense. You feel that feeling of inner contraction, like hardness, right? So that's what you begin to feel. And so a feeling, that's the only way that you know that something is wrong. So through feelings, emotions, maybe through your, vision and stuff like that. But initially, things that are very subtle, like when someone's talking to you, when something happens, when you enter a room, the only way you can tell that something is wrong is through your feelings, through your emotions. Emotions and feelings are, go hand in hand. So I wouldn't ever recommend to anybody to try to just get rid of their emotions. That would be bypassing your emotions. You want to feel your emotions. Your emotions are actually something you want to welcome. So one of the things that I posted on my community tab was a quote by someone, and you can go back and read that. But basically I added to that to say that I actually enjoy having these emotions. When I have anger or sadness come, I welcome them in, because that's an opportunity for me to learn more about myself. So all of this is trying to show you your true nature. Now, when you're not seeing yourself clearly, I know my true nature, but when I'm not seeing myself clearly and things begin to happen in life like they do, some of the things that I could be responding with, or situations I could be getting myself into or being part of, are actually things that maybe I'm reverting to. So if I find myself in a space where I'm not feeling okay emotionally, I have to go in and examine that. That's actually fun to me. It didn't used to be. Before, when I would have these emotions, I'd probably ignore them, call a friend and vent, have a glass of wine, just basically vent and have a glass of wine, that sort of thing. Maybe distract myself with Netflix or, something like that. That doesn't happen anymore. If an emotion or a strong emotion like anger or sadness comes, I go into that emotion. I question that emotion. I want to know, why am I feeling this way? There is reasons for why you feel different ways. There's reasons why you feel uncomfortable. There's reasons why you feel insecure. There's reasons for this. It's because you're out of what you truly are. So I'll give you an example of just something that happened yesterday. So these things still happen to me, even though I know my true nature. Like I say, certain things that happen in life that are just normal things that happen, they may not align with what you truly are. So I'll give you an example of the workplace. So I have a position where I mainly manage myself and do all of my own things. I work pretty independently and I don't really report to anybody, but I do have a supervisor. I just don't see her. I might see her once a month, something like that. So I don't have someone that I see every day that I report to, like my boss. So I've been in those type of positions for a long time now, and that's pretty normal to me. But anyway, after this shift of perception, I haven't really seen the supervisor very much because there wasn't one for a while. And then now there is one, and she's been busy actually covering another supervisor's role in another office. So I haven't really seen her. Well, anyway, she came to the office yesterday, and she had what she called a team meeting with a lot of different people that were in the building that she is technically their supervisor. So she's technically my supervisor, so I attended that meeting. Now at that meeting, I didn't really have a whole lot to really bring up or do in that meeting, but I went ahead, I had a few things I had to talk about. And I began to notice that I was feeling a little bit of anxiety. Like I could feel it in my body. I could feel the physical sensations of it. And then a very subtle feeling of it. I used to actually suffer with anxiety. I used to have generalized anxiety, and I used to have panic attacks. Now this was years back, but I know exactly what that feels like. This was very, very subtle. I mean, even you probably wouldn't even have been able to pick up on it. But to me, after having at least like a year of no anxiety at all, I could feel it. So I felt this feeling, and that feeling is a trigger or a sign to you that something is off, okay? So I went into that feeling, and I didn't do that at the meeting. Afterwards, I thought, wow, that was kind of weird. Like I felt anxiety there. And so I went into that feeling was still there, and I examined it. And what I found and what was shown to me was that I was feeling anxious. I was feeling like something wasn't right. And that's what that feeling was. Something's not right, because I was perceiving a hierarchy where my supposed supervisor was higher than me, and I was coming to her for some sort of advice. So there is really no hierarchy, okay? So that there is no hierarchy. There's really no one that has authority over you. When the truth of reality is seen, you see everything as oneness, and you see how every level, if you want to call it that way, of development is just needed. It's just, it's not any better or worse. It's all the same. And that version of that person in that lower level, there's also a version of them in their highest level. So it's all already there. You can't judge that. And there's no one higher or lower than you. You are all the pieces. So you see that there's just literally no hierarchy. And so the belief of authority starts to kind of diminish with that. You don't see everything the same. You don't even see the legal system the same. You don't see these things the same. You respect them, and you see why they're there in the needs that our society needs. But what does it truly mean to me? What does that impact? Like if you were to be charged with something, or something happened, in the long term of it, doesn't matter. There's no purpose. There's no reason. There's nothing behind it. It's actually starting to rain, so I don't know if you can hear it. It's a tin roof here, so there's a tin roof up here. So anyway, you don't perceive authority like you used to. Even like when you get confronted by, like, let's say a police officer or somebody in authority, it's like you see how they are just you. It's not the same. You don't get nervous. So I felt nervous in this situation, a little bit of anxiety there. So I had to examine them. So I hadn't had a team meeting in a long time. So what I came to observe from that situation is that I was seeing myself as lower than her, because I was asking her for advice, and that's just not the case. We don't have any hierarchies. We are just sharing and giving and receiving information back and forth. And it's really with myself. And something interesting happened. After I thought this through and really worked it through myself, and just realizing what that feeling was, we had another meeting. And so my supervisor came to everybody and said, you know what, I don't want anybody here to feel that I am their supervisor, that you have to come to me, or that I have to micromanage you, or show you anything, or tell you anything, or be on top of you for anything. That is not my role. And so my supervisor came and said, basically, I work alongside you. I am not your supervisor. We are the same. If anything, this supervisor said she still takes clients. So this is all in counseling. She says, I actually still take counseling clients all the time. So she's not in that managing role all the time. So she's trying to basically remove that hierarchy, basically. And she did. When she said that, that was confirmation to me that when I went into that feeling, that was correct. And when I aligned myself again to who I truly am and realized, you know what, there was no reason to be nervous at all. We are just giving and receiving information. This is a partnership of oneness where everything is working together. And when that happened, that's when the supervisor came in and shared all these things. So it just manifested itself that that work situation changed. There was another situation. It's a little bit harder to explain. Basically, there was a situation where I was working with someone that I really did not align with. You know, generally, I get along with everybody and I can help everybody. But in this case, I really just, honestly, I didn't want to. So you get to a place also where you have very firm boundaries and you respect yourself in a way where certain people are just no longer allowed. So, well, maybe I used to be a people pleaser maybe when it came to helping people. So my job and my role is to help people in that position. So in helping people, basically anybody that came through the door, I was ready to help. And a lot of times I worked harder than the clients did. So with this particular client that just came in last week, there was a lot of things that were off. A lot of things that just were not going to work. Personality wise, we just weren't resonating, clicking. Secondly, the person was very unstable, doing things that could harm me, could harm themselves, just completely out of line. And where in the past I would have worked with that person and really went deep with them and trying to help them, I could already pretty much tell that what was happening here was it's not going to change like that right now. There was just such blockage there that it just wasn't going to happen. It was almost a losing battle. And I've worked with many people like that, where I would say almost love whatever disorder or problem they have. And so they're living out that timeline. That's what's happening there. At some other point, maybe they might choose something different, but currently they're choosing to love it. And they see like anybody providing them counseling or doing any of this stuff is kind of like, it's kind of like a nuisance. It's something that they have to do to get their medication or to do something else. So it's just a means to an end. So, so it's not that they're really seeking help. So that's what that case was. And I really was dreading to work with this person. And this isn't a situation where I generally, you know, tell people that I'm not going to help them. Well, come to find out, she removed herself from my reality. We were supposed to have a session today, and I called her, and to my surprise, she had moved. She said I had moved, and I said, well, last time we met, you didn't mention anything about moving. Well, somehow or another, her boyfriend got a job somewhere else, and within a week, they had moved. So that person is no longer in my reality. They're still living out, you know, their timeline of doing whatever they do. But I don't have to interact with them because so basically what happened was I felt that this wasn't going to work. I could already tell what that was going to happen. And basically I had already decided. So you decide or claim something that's just not going to work for you. And I decided that, and it fell away. It went away. That person was not meant to be with me, you know. So same thing will happen with your friends, with your family, and I've talked about this. Some of these things where you're working on picturing yourself having a healthy relationship with somebody, picturing themselves as their best self or whatever, you know, visualizing them and redefining yourself in order to create that beautiful experience. What may happen, and this is another thing that could happen, is that person could completely fall away. So you're trying to visualize having a great relationship with them, but what ends up happening is they move away, or something happens where they're no longer in your physical reality. Life takes care of life. Whatever happens, you have to know that it's happening for your greatest good. So everything that happens, whether we understand it or not, is actually all happening for our greatest good. And you have to see it that way, and literally that's what will happen. So when these people remove themselves, that allows that space that I've talked about in other videos for something new to come in. You need space, and you need these things to leave for what is meant for you in your highest level to show up. So when that person leaves, someone else will be able to have that spot. Somebody that is actually wanting to work on these things, to work on their inner work, to actually take themselves seriously. And so when that person comes in, then I can work with that person, and we can really begin to give and receive each other, right? So through our energy, through our information, through everything, and we are in that partnership, then it'll work. So that's what that does. Okay, and so in the thing with my supervisor, she basically fixed the whole thing just by clearing up the fact that she is not really a supervisor in this level. She's actually saying, you know what, guys, I'm coming alongside with you. So while I could have had some horrible boss that micromanages everybody and puts people down, or gives people too much work or whatever, that's not my case. I always have things work out for my greatest good. So what happened, I didn't feel right about feeling like somebody was above me and that I had to go to them to get the information that I'm supposed to harness. So what ended up happening was that person cleared up their role of who they are, because in my reality, there is no hierarchy. We are all working together, giving and receiving each other's gifts. So she did that, and now I'm relaxed, she's relaxed, and everything is working in perfect harmony, how it's supposed to. That's how things work when you have your mindset in the right. Okay, so when you are feeling like a feeling of something's not right, whether it's in your body or you identify it as anger, sadness, whatever, or it's very clear, you're arguing, you're fighting, something's happening. When you identify this is actually a good thing. Welcome it, examine it, see where you are not showing up or defining yourself correctly in that situation. That's what the emotions are for. They're a warning sign. Go back and watch my previous video where I talk about how emotions are a warning sign of something is not right. Okay, let's see what else happened. Let's see. Oh, well, I woke up with a sore throat. Now, mind you, my husband's been sick with a cold. So I woke up with a sore throat, and all of a sudden now I'm sick. Well, I'm not like full-blown sick, but my throat hurts. And I see how sick he is, so I'm assuming I caught what he caught. So anyway, so I had to think about that. I was like, you know what, that doesn't feel too good on my throat. So that's the feeling. There you go. So you feel something, even if it's just a sickness. Examine that. Illnesses are also signs. Any feeling or emotion is a signal to you to look inward and see what that's about. So my throat hurt. So I said, okay, that hurts. Why is this happening? Why does it hurt? Well, my husband's been sick. I got what he got. Okay, but how did that happen when I am in alignment with health? What I am is health. Health comes from me. And my body has regained wholeness, and I'm very healthy. How is it that I'm sick? Well, I examined that. I went into that pain there in my throat, and it was shown to me that for the past like 3 weeks, I've had different things going on every weekend. We've hosted parties, big parties. We've hosted big parties. We've had people come in from out of town. Between hosting all of these people, between the party and people out of town and things like that, and some church stuff, that drained my energy, and that drained me in my physical body. Okay, and where was I out of alignment when I went into that pain in there in my throat? I was shown what that was. I was doing and spending most of my energy with people pleasing or serving others, and I wasn't replenishing energy. Okay, so I was doing that for about 3 weeks. And now my energy was so low that when an illness came in, it was very easy for the illness to attach. Okay, because I wasn't in the most loving relationship with my health. If I had been in the most loving relationship in my health last night or today, whenever I started getting sick, I would have probably slept more. I probably would have taken some breaks. I probably would have taken more care of myself, more vitamins, maybe taken, anything that my body needed at that time. But I didn't do that. I just kept going. If anything, I probably skipped meals. I probably slept less. So my relationship with health wasn't as loving as it was before. So I wasn't being as loving in that relationship. Everything in life is a relationship, and it's love. Everything's depending on how much love is in that relationship. So if you love someone, you take care of them, you allow them to have enough sleep, you give them enough to eat, you let them rest, you let them take breaks. If it's too much, you take a load off of them. That's when you love someone. When you don't love someone, you make them work more time. You make them work overtime. You don't give them breaks. You don't feed them well. You neglect them. You overwork them. So that's what I was doing to myself. So you see how that's not a loving relationship? And so because there wasn't that much love there in that relationship, that cold was very easy to attach to me, because I wasn't in a loving relationship to health. If I had been in a more loving relationship to health, I maybe wouldn't get sick. But I welcome it because it taught me something. So that's another thing, is when you have bad things happen to you, whether it's negative emotions, whether it's a bad feeling, whether it's a bad situation, whether it's a bad experience, that's okay. So I get a lot of questions, how do I get rid of this? How do I have a perfect life? How do I get rid of emotions? How do I get rid of all these issues I have? You can't. You can align yourself to what you want. You can have anything you want. You can choose, like in a catalog. But at the end of the day, even if you get those things in the catalog, if you pick this and that and you get this, you get the big house, the car, the husband, this, and you have everything you want, even there, things will happen, emotions will happen, experiences will happen, feelings will happen, situations will happen that you don't necessarily like. Why do they happen? Because they're making space for the next thing. When you have an argument and you break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, that gives more space for the right person to come in when you break up with that person. When something goes wrong in an experience, it gives space for another better experience to come. When you lose a job, it gives space for a new job, a better job to come. Everything that we think is negative is actually only space, and that is what everything comes out of. That is what is nothingness. That is what is feminine. It is the void, and you need that. So in even the best situations that you can have manifested for yourself, you will have negative emotions, feelings, bad situations, maybe even tragedies happen. Why? Because that's building and making space for your next step. And it's manifesting in that. In the bad comes the good, okay? We could never know the good if we hadn't had the bad. So it's all a paradox. It's all the yin and the yang. So you can't get rid of this stuff. You can only understand it. So everything about this is just to understand yourself better and to understand how the universe and reality works to your favor. So if you understand that these bad things aren't actually bad, you won't be fearful of them. You won't avoid them. You won't do these things to stay stuck. See, when you avoid fear, when you avoid these bad situations or these feelings and you bypass or you mask them with drugs or alcohol, or you distract yourself with Netflix or whatever you distract yourself with, the only thing that's happening is you're staying in that stagnant space. You're not allowing growth. So these things are actually good. They allow you to manifest and to move on to the next step. So when these things happen, again, I actually get excited. I'm like, wow, what is this? Let me go in there and see where am I not understanding myself in the right way? Where am I incorrect about who I truly am? What is this feeling? Let me go in there and see. It's like being a detective, and when you find out how you misaligned yourself or misidentified yourself in that situation, you are empowered again, because you say, oh no, I didn't see myself correctly there. I was limiting myself. I was seeing myself as less. That's not right. And it actually empowers you, because then you get your power back and you're like, oh, that's what that feeling was. Thank you for that feeling, because I needed to know that I wasn't seeing myself correctly. And now you can realign yourself, and it gives space, and now you can actually manifest the next thing. So you don't want to get rid of emotions. If you're talking about how to go into them and how to solve them, all you do is accept the emotion. As you accept the emotion, it'll be shown to you why it's there. And then you can go deeper with it, whatever you want. As soon as you accept it, it kind of relaxes and starts to dissolve. It shows you why it's there. And then it just dissolves and relaxes. And this is all happening within a matter of, I don't know, a few minutes. It's not anything that lasts on and on. If it was a really deep issue, possibly you could go on and on with it. For me, I recognize it, I feel it, I look into it, and then all of a sudden, within like a minute, it's solved. It's shown to me where I wasn't seeing myself or identifying myself correctly. And then it just, everything naturally just begins to fix itself again. So it's like magic. You have this power. It's your feelings, it's your emotions. Your whole body is like a warning system. It's all set up so perfectly, really. So everything is about understanding yourself better. You're not just this limited person. I'm not just this form that you're seeing with brown hair and brown eyes and talking. But I am located right here, right now, it feels like, even though I am boundless and I can move from anywhere. But while I'm in this form, while I'm feeling I'm in this form, I need to get to know this form. How does this form feel things? How does this form like things? And what doesn't feel good? What feels good? And the more I know this form, the more I know my outer reality as well, because it's all coming from within. So get to know yourself, get to know your feelings, get to know when your body is doing things that are out of alignment with who you are. Get to know when you're tense. Get to know all of these things about your body and about your mind and about yourself. What is this human form that you're in? Understand it. When you understand that, you understand the universe, because it's all coming through you. And that's the beauty of it. You are not powerless. Everything is happening through you, and you can have anything you want. You can do anything you want, but you have to know that. You have to know that, and you have to accept that. And if you're watching these videos, you know that. That's why you're here. It makes sense to you at a soul level. Okay? So sit with that. Feel it in your body. That you are everything. Everything is happening through you. All your experiences are happening through you. Everything is meant for your greater good. Nothing is happening that is against you. You're completely safe at all times. So you are the chooser. You get to choose what you want to experience. Listen to your feelings, listen to your emotions, and choose what you truly are, and you can't go wrong. So I just wanted to share that with you. We're not getting rid of emotions. We welcome emotions because they show us the way. Okay, so if you have any other questions, go ahead and comment down below. Email me if you'd like. I have my information down in the description box, and you can contact me through email. And I have some exciting news coming, so please check back. If you're new here, please subscribe if you like this sort of content. And I hope to see you all again on the next video. Thanks for watching.